Today's guest is IBD Deputy President Raphaël Grisoni. Raphael is a truly international leader with a wealth of experience in the Scotch whisky, champagne, and rum industries. Born in the beautiful Marseille and raised and educated in the equally beautiful Paris, Raf went on to gain further postgraduate qualifications in the UK. In a career stretching across a broad range of continents, Raf has brought his experience and expertise to Inverhouse, Distilleries Ryzen, LMVH, and Remy Cointreau, where he's the managing director of AMEI, which is Africa, Middle East, and India. Raf brings to the IBD board considerable knowledge in brand strategy and marketing, commercial development, operations, CSR, and absolutely critically, multicultural management. Raf, welcome, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Tom. It's good to be here with you, and thank you for the beautiful description.
That's perfect. Marseille is one of my favorite places in the world, so I'm big fan of Marseille. So, okay. Raf, just to talk through some questions. So, what was it that was special about the IBD that prompted you to become involved, both as a kind of trustee originally and then now as deputy president?
I will say by chance, because I didn't know IBD. It's really through a university friend, Bavia, of course, that you know, that asked me to join the institute. And I was intrigued. So I didn't know. And as you know, I'm working in the wine and spirit industry for more than 30 years. And strange enough, I didn't know IBD. So I researched. Of course, before accepting anything, I did some research. Through the net, also through colleagues that are master blender or master distillers in the industry. And first, I was amazed by the history of the institution and the track record. And it's true that the institute is very highly regarded. And I didn't know about it. I was not aware at all. So after this kind of check, if you want, well, I decided that, it's a great institute to work for and to contribute, hopefully.
And do you think that's one of the challenges for the IBD, to kind of raise its profile and build its awareness that there's so much good stuff that's happening? Right. We need to work out how we can spread the word.
Totally. I think it's that's the main challenge challenges that we have for the next year, and probably with the chartership, it's also a good opportunity to go out and really educate and communicate about what we do, because at the end of the day, the kind of education that we are providing is just exceptional in our industry. So we need to shout a bit more about us and about our qualities, probably.
And we've discussed this a bit, but what do you think from an international perspective? Different markets have got different needs. There's all sorts of different factors that affect the IBD and people making their choices in terms of their professional education. What do you think are the most what are the challenges that we need to start to think about? And what do you think the most promising opportunities are?
I think, first, in my first 30 years experience in the industry, I saw the industry evolving. Thanks to technology, for example, on the production operation side, bringing much more efficiency, the quality also of the production. So at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of the cost of production, but also the quality, all the liquids which I've seen in the Scotch whisky, in the rum industry, also in champagne. It's a different aspect. You can see that technology brought this level of efficiency and quality. For me, the challenges of the future, and with one of my previous job, it was at the heart of what I was doing in operation. It's really the CSR. So it's the sustainability of what we do.
Yeah.
And if we think about how IBD can bring in terms of learning, of skill set, it's all around the operation of a brewery or distillery that are tackling those aspects of CSR. And, there's some hot topic, like everybody's talking about water conservation, for example, the use or production even of renewable and clean energies, overall lower the carbon footprint. So it could be in production, but also in packaging. And I know we have a specific module on that, on packaging, where how do you do really to lower your carbon footprint by using, I don't know, lightening to have lighter glass bottles, for example, challenging your supplier on that, taking off the outer packaging, for example, those gift box, heavy gift box, etc. There's many aspects, and it's good that I think at IBD we started already to tackle that, and I think it will be in high demand from new generation of master blender, master brewers, master distillers, etc. All those aspects will be highly in demand, and I'm very happy that we started already to have that in our cursus in a way. So,
and I think building on that, I think it's fair to say that people within the industry are operating in incredibly complex times. And how do you think the IBD can use its kind of global sections to keep ahead of those trends and make sure that what it's doing is relevant? Or how important do you think those sections are to kind of keeping the IBD up to date? Because it's its network that provides, to a certain extent, its expertise.
I mean, as you know, IBD is almost 150 years old. For me, we know it used to be a very British-centric and now European-centric, and with some chapters effectively in Africa, in Oceania, a bit in Americas. But I think effectively the future lies into opening much more to those geographies. Why? Simply because what we offer, and just making a simple competition analysis or competitive analysis, you notice that what we're offering in terms of education in our field is quite unique and quite moreover quite relevant and very relevant for our contemporaries. So sometimes you can think, okay, it's an old institution, 1886. I mean, it's a long time ago it was created, but the beauty, and it's what I learned also for almost 2 years that I'm in, is to see that every year there's a review of the syllabus, there's new topics which are brought, and we are super up to date. So for a contemporary professional in our industry, we are super relevant. Relevant here in UK, in Europe, but everywhere, I will say, where we see all those brewery distilling popping up, there's a need for proper education, and it's where we have a role to play, I think, very sincerely. And also the thing that you mentioned, I'm French, as you can hear with my bloody accent, but also I think it's interesting also to have in our board different origin. Megan, our president, is Australian. I'm French. You're British. You see what I mean? So I think it's good. I can feel also that in terms of management, if you want, there's this international aspect, and we are taking that matter very seriously instead of being very solely UK-centric or British-centric. We are very open to the world, and that I think it's something very valuable for all actual members and the future members that will join.
Yeah, so I completely agree with that, and we're putting a lot of effort at the moment into those international sections to make sure that we've got really good committees and we've got really good connections, and we've got people who in time can become ambassadors for the IBD in those different markets, understand the needs and what have you. And so it's interesting. Chartership is obviously very much on our kind of radar, with us being granted our royal charter. As a non-Brit, why is charter, a royal charter, as relevant for somebody in Tasmania as it would be for somebody in Telford? What's your sense there about the kind of global relevance of chartership?
Of course, there's the word royal, which is changing a bit the status. Obviously, it's something quite impressive in a way. But I think more than that, when you dig into the origin of the chartership, what is interesting is that it's bringing a recognition of what we do, what we provide, and also when you see all the technical, in the field of brewing and distilling, all the technical education that we brought over, almost for 150 years, the chartership is bringing this level of recognition and really showing that, yes, we are the gold standard when we talk about professional qualification in our beer and spirit industry. So for me, chartership is really, okay, this is the recognition. This is finally, of course, it's very British, obviously, but it means a lot if we explain what it stands for. And I think, as you mentioned, somebody in Tasmania running a whiskey distillery in Tasmania will be sensitive to that, meaning that this is the ultimate recognition of what we've been doing for 150 years. So in that sense, I think if we manage to explain it, because we have to explain it, it's not obvious for people outside probably UK. So I think we need to explain it, of course.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that chartership gives us is that chance to kind of reset and tell our story in a different way. And then in terms of, so your kind of term of presidency will come after Megan's. What on your radar? I know you're a very kind of strategic thinker. What are the things that you're going to be thinking about in terms of what do you think? Get a sense of your initial hypothesis as to your priorities are going to be in the years to come for the IBD.
I think for any president, the challenge is to maintain, and it has been done successfully for 150 years again, so no doubt that we will continue. It's to be relevant. I think the key is to be relevant to our contemporary world. And by that, when we were mentioning earlier sustainability, what does it mean? Yes, there's sustainability in some practices, but it's doing what we do in a sustainable way. And I think IBD is open to that, and that will make us relevant for future generation. And I will make sure that under my watch, in a way, we will continue to be relevant for our members, our actual members, and the future one. And I think having new members will show also growing, and IBD is growing, as you know. It shows that we are super relevant in the modern world. And all that, it's because we are keeping on the skills, on the syllabus, etc. We are keeping up to date. We are very up to date on technical matters. And I think this last chapter on sustainable growth is something important that is making us relevant. So my wish, yes, I'm contributing to that now, but in the future, it's to continue to do that, Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. And then just finally, I've got a vested interest in this. As CEO, you will become my kind of boss at some point. So what are the things that, if you were me, you clearly lots of senior management positions, what would you be focused on at the moment?
So I think for me, there's two things, is to keep our members happy. So always providing the good services that members need. So maintaining alive our community of members, transmitting lots of information. I think this is one aspect. Second aspect, which is, we talk about it, it's the relevance of what we are proposing in terms of education. And the third aspect for me, I know I said two, but there's three aspects. The third aspect is naturally to seek for growth. Why? Because the more we are growing the IBD community, and the more we will because at the end of the day, this is the aim also of the IBD, or mission, if you want, is to transmit this knowledge, this education to a wider audience. And I think the more we will grow IBD, so the third pillar is that growing IBD towards the or beyond the natural frontiers that we have, and really grow the number of members and people, and members, not only members, people interested in what we do, and contributors also could be contributors that like what IBD is doing and would like to contribute, you know, in a way or the other. And as we are a charity, we are open to contribution for sure.
Yeah, and I think as a charity, as we grow, it's not growth for growth's sake. It's growth because we will deliver on our charitable purpose in terms of supporting the development of kind of really well-trained, professionally educated people that can make a huge contribution within their respective field. So, Raf, thank you very much. It's been great to talk to you, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.